What if the heaviest thing you carry is not a burden placed on you by life, but one you placed on yourself? We hold on to people who have left, to moments that have passed, to versions of ourselves we no longer are, to outcomes we cannot control. And in the holding on, we suffer. But three of the greatest civilizations in human history looked at this very human tendency, and each of them independently arrived at the same radical insight: let go, not in defeat, not in resignation, but in wisdom. Today we explore what letting go really means through the Stoics of ancient Greece, through the Tao of ancient China, and through the eternal teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Stay with me, because what these ancient voices discovered about impermanence will change how you see everything you are holding on to right now. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world, emperor of Rome, commander of legions, master of the greatest empire ever built. And yet every morning, before the sun rose over the Palatine Hill, he sat alone and wrote to himself, not about conquest, not about power, but about letting go. He wrote these words in his private journal, words never meant to be read by anyone else. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Read that again. Loss is nothing else but change. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, understood something that our modern world has forgotten entirely. Nothing is permanent. Nothing was ever meant to be permanent. The emperor, the empire, the moment of joy, the season of pain, all of it changes. All of it passes. And the Stoics had a practice for this realization. They called it Memento Mori. Remember that you will die, not as a morbid thought, not as a counsel of despair, but as a liberation. Because the man who remembers that everything is temporary holds nothing too tightly, grieves without being destroyed, loves without clinging, loses without being lost. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher and advisor to emperors, put it this way: omnia aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum est. Everything is alien to us. Only time is ours, not the person, not the outcome, not even the body you inhabit. Only this moment, only now. And when the moment passes, the Stoic does not rage against its passing. He lets it go. By a river and watched the water. He watched for a very long time, and what he saw in that river became perhaps the most important teaching in the history of Eastern philosophy. His name was Lao Tzu, and what he saw in the river was this: the water does not fight the rock, it flows around it. The water does not mourn the shore it has left behind, it moves forward. The water does not cling to the vessel that contains it. It takes the shape of whatever holds it, and when poured out, it flows on. He called this principle Wu Wei, effortless action, non-resistance, the art of moving with life rather than against it. He wrote in the Tao Te Ching, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Do not resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Notice what Lao Tzu is not saying. He is not saying, do not feel. He is not saying, do not love. He is not saying, do not care. He is saying, do not resist the nature of things. Do not fight the river, because the river always wins. His student, Zhuangzi, took this teaching even further. When his beloved wife died, a friend found him singing. The friend was appalled. How can you sing at a time like this? And Zhuangzi replied, when she first died, do you think I did not grieve like any other man? But I looked back to her beginning and the time before she was born. Not only before she was born, but the time before she had a body. Not only before she had a body, but the time before she had a spirit. In the midst of the jumble of wonder and mystery, a change took place, and she had a spirit. Another change, and she had a body. Another change, and she was born. Now there is another change, and she is dead. It is just like the progression of the 4 seasons. She is resting now in the great house. For me to go about weeping and wailing would be to proclaim myself ignorant of these natural laws. So I stopped. That is Wu Wei in the face of loss. Not the absence of feeling, but the presence of understanding. The Taoist lets go, not because he does not love, but because he understands the nature of all things. Everything arises, everything passes, and in the passing, there is beauty. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a great warrior laid down his bow. His name was Arjuna, and he was paralyzed, not by fear of the enemy, but by attachment. He looked across the battlefield and saw his teachers, his cousins, his friends, all ranged against him, and he could not fight. He could not let go of what was. And in that moment of paralysis, his charioteer spoke. That charioteer was Krishna, and what he said to Arjuna on that battlefield is perhaps the most profound teaching on impermanence and letting go ever recorded. He said, "You have a right to perform your actions, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty." Let that land for a moment. You are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. This is not a counsel of passivity. Arjuna still had to fight. You still have to act, to love, to build, to create, to show up. But the attachment to the outcome, the clinging to how things must turn out, that is the source of all suffering. Krishna continued, "The soul is never born, nor dies at any time. It has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. It is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. It is not slain when the body is slain. If the self is eternal, what exactly are we holding on to?" The Bhagavad Gita teaches what the Stoics called amor fati, love of fate, what the Taoists called Wu Wei, flowing with what is. Do your duty, release the outcome, act with full presence, release attachment, love completely, release clinging. This is the Indian teaching on letting go, not passive resignation, but active, engaged, open-hearted surrender to the nature of things. 3 civilizations, 3 teachings, 3,000 years, and the same river flowing through all of them. Marcus Aurelius sat alone before dawn and reminded himself, loss is change. Change is nature's delight. Lao Tzu watched the river and understood, do not fight the current. Flow. Krishna stood on the battlefield and said, act fully. Cling to nothing. They never met each other. They never read each other's words. And yet, they all arrived at the same shore. The art of letting go is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is not indifference. It is perhaps the most courageous act a human being can perform. To love fully and hold lightly. To act completely and release the outcome. To be present and accept the passing. The river does not mourn the shore it has left behind. It simply flows, and in the flowing, it reaches the sea. If something in you recognized the truth in these ancient words, if something loosened its grip just a little as you listened, then you are already practicing the art of letting go. Subscribe to one truth, many voices, where every week we sit with the greatest minds of Greece, India, and China and listen for the wisdom that runs beneath all their words. One truth, many voices, many paths. See you next week.